Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. One of the jobs I had to do this week was to repair some damage done to a ceiling by a plumber. The plumber had to hack a hole into the ceiling to get at some leaking pipes, and of course he fixed those pipes and left a jagged hole. Now I could just fix the hole in the ceiling, but the owner wanted to have an access panel put in because, well, from his point of view, it could happen again, and this way he didn't have to pay for someone to repair the job one more time. The panel can just be removed, the pipes can be accessed, and then of course the problem fixed. So I have that access panel, and I have to be able to fit it to, well, it is basically just a gyprock ceiling with stippling, and it is a very difficult sort of thing to figure out as far as how much of a hole there should be, and of course how much tension that spring is going to have, because it's a cheap access panel. It has a relatively weak spring, and I wasn't entirely sure how big to make the hole. So the easiest way of doing this would be to create a frame. It's basically a picture frame, but the picture frame is not going to be pre-assembled. I'm going to go on site and attach this to the ceiling, and it's going to have some adjusters on it that are going to allow me to fiddle around with the tension a little bit and make sure that the access panel stays up and doesn't fall down. So I'm going to cut these strips. I'm going to make them about 2.5 inches wide. It should give me enough play for, first off, screwing these into, it's basically drywall. And I'm going to use drywall screws and give me enough room on the either side of it so that I can, like I said, play with the tension in this so that, again, it would first off look reasonably nice and be firmly anchored to the ceiling, and of course hold that panel in place, and also of course allow it to be removed. So I'm just going to strip off 4 of these, and then I'm going to cut them at 45 just like we're making a picture frame, and then I'm going to do a dry run because, like I said, I'm not sure exactly how much tension this is going to need. I need to be able to go on site and not take too much time putting this together, mostly because I'm interrupting people in their lives while I'm doing this. And the other reason, of course, is it doesn't look good if I'm sitting there and chopping a little bit off, trying a little bit more, fiddling with it, and basically making it look like this is something that I'm figuring out on site. So I want to do as much of this here in the shop, have it as figured out as possible, so I spend as little time there and get it done properly. So that's just, all I'm doing here is just roughly cutting 45s. Because this is going on to drywall, to a ceiling of gyprock, and it's not even, because they never are, it doesn't have to be precise. If I were doing this a little bit more precise, I would be more concerned, build a better jig, but as you can see, it is quite square. It's a little bit off, you can see right at the top there, but again, once this is all screwed into place, I can use caulking to fill the holes, and it's all going to paint it anyway, so it's not really that important. I want to pre-drill the holes, of course, so I'm going to mark them so they're all even. Most of this is all going to get hidden, but again, it's just a good idea to know where your screws are going to be, because there's also plumbing up there, and the floor joists, of course, and on top of that, there's also wiring and nails I have to get around. So having these holes pre-drilled and knowing where they're all going to go before I get there, it's just going to save a lot of time and fiddling around on site. So I'm also going to bring the drill, of course, just in case I've mismeasured something and something needs minor adjustment. But this will definitely cut down on the number or the amount of time I'm going to spend on site. So once these are all drilled, I am going to, as I said, preset this up. I'm going to just connect it to some scrap pieces of wood, and then I'm going to fiddle around with it, put the panel on, make some adjustments. And as it turns out, I'm really glad I did this, because that spring was really weak. I had to put additional small blocks underneath here to constrain the amount of hole. One of the things that the owner specified is they wanted quite a large access panel. So this is the panel I'm going to be using, and as you can see, those are the adjusters I had to put in place just to make it the hole from the panel's point of view as tight as possible. So there you go. I'm going to paint this all up and then go on site. So I've meant to show you the hole before I did anything, but as you can see here, I have widened the hole just a little bit, added another one, started putting the boards on, And you can see it's one of those things that just, you don't want that in your ceiling. And you also see how it is a stippled ceiling, and it is very difficult to attach boards to this sort of thing. But I get them all in place. I put in a preliminary bit of caulking on there, and now I'm going to cut out the rest of that and put the panel on and do a bit more touch up on painting. And then I'm going to go back after this, unfortunately, so you're not going to see the final product, but you're going to see most of it here. And it's going to all be done. Like I said, the important part about this sort of job is get it done as quickly as possible so you don't interrupt them as much as, well, or as little as you can. So there you go. That's all done now. And like I said, I'm going to go back one more time just for some touch-ups, and that'll be it. Thanks very much for watching. Leave comments. Let me know what you think about everything, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.